Well, good afternoon, everybody, or possibly good evening, or possibly good morning. This is Mike Ferry with podcast number 12. No, it's podcast number 13. And we have a really unique fellow that we're going to spend time with today. His name, if you have been to our seminars, is DK, letter D, letter K. And when I first met him, I said, "Is that really your name?" He said, "No, my name is..."
My name is Dimitrios Kalogeropoulos.
And same to you. Okay, I'm going to do something. I said to Dakota, DK has a great sense of humor and is a lot of fun. I'm going to ask him to spell his first and last name for our audience.
Yeah, no problem. So it's Dimitrios and then Kalogeropoulos. I think I lost you halfway.
I understand why you're going by DK.
I don't think you know the story. I was door knocking because you taught me to. And I said, "Hi, my name is Dimitrios Kalogeropoulos." Slammed the door. "Hi, my name is..." I said, "This isn't working." So I said, "I'm going with DK." And then the door knocking just took off. So thanks to you. Yep.
Tell them where you work and your marketplace and who you work for.
I'm in Ottawa, Canada, nation's capital. And I'm currently with eXp Realty. And
Good.
I was trying to think of how many years I've been in coaching because my son is 16 and I pretty much got involved with you at that time. So I've been in coaching for about 16 years.
That is great. Who is your coach at this time?
Right now, it's Tony Smith.
Oh, Tony's one of the best of the best.
Uh,
He's lucky he gets to coach you, and you're lucky that you get to have Tony as a coach. So that's
all of
great.
all of my coaches have been great. I've had several, and they were all incredible and same message, but delivered in a different way. So I'm very lucky to have had all the coaches that I've had from you.
That is great. So tell the audience about the team that you have.
So it's myself. It was myself for the longest time. And my Mike Ferry coach said, "You're allowed to get an agent when you have at least 25 listings because you need leads for those agents." So when I hit my 50th transaction, I hired my first assistant.
Good.
Mike, she's still with me now. 13 years later, she's still with me. And she's my sales manager.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I have two admin. And now I have five agents plus myself. And that's the makeup of the team as it stands right now. I'm still in production.
Tell what your minimum standards are that you're trying to achieve with the team.
What I'm trying to achieve is that everybody has a high quality of life. I don't want them just seeing me buying nice cars and nice homes. I want all of them to have a good life. So minimum is they need to make at least $100,000 to be on the team because in Ottawa, Canada, that's a decent wage. And obviously, ideally more. Two of my agents make more than 200,000 a year, but I'd
Wow.
like them all to make a minimum of 100,000.
What are your thoughts about so many people today? Well, first, I would say to you that from my perspective, team building is the most constant conversation among agents.
Yeah.
And and it shouldn't be because most of them don't do any business that want to build a team.
Yeah.
Um, but what are your thoughts about these people that are trying to get 30, 40 people on their team and and live off that?
Look, I think there's many ways to run a team. So I don't want to insult anybody that has that model. The way I was taught is the Mike Ferry way. So I like to have food with my meals, as Mike says. So, I'm very profitable. We have a high profit margin because we're lean. The more people
Yes,
that you have, you need more admin, you need more support. We're doing about 165 transactions with two admin. Now, if I hired 10 more agents, you need about one admin for every three agents.
that's
So
right.
the profit margins drastically diminish. Then they need more attention, they need more training, and then they start wanting leads.
That's
So
right.
you got to pay for leads, which costs money. So Mike, I haven't paid for a lead in 16 years that I've been an agent. All of my team door knocks, they call, They don't cold call because they'll call around a just listed, just sold.
Yes.
And they do open houses, but they do open houses the Mike Ferry way. They invite the neighbors, they invite everybody, and they pick up business. And that's how we get business. We seek it out. So I think it's okay if you have 30 people as long as they're doing it your way and you're teaching them how to go and fish and find their own fish. When you have agents that are sitting there waiting like a bird with his mouth open, waiting for to be fed, you're not doing them a service. You're not doing people a service. You need to empower people so they can put food on their table, and then they'll stay on the team because of the culture you've built. And
Yes.
that's what I believe.
You know, what I've discovered is as the team number of buyer's agent grows, the more time the team leader has to spend training, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So their
Yes.
personal production gets diminished, which is where their big margins generally are in terms of profitability. So
Yes.
even though you're doing more business and looking better in the eyes of the public, your bank account is suffering in most cases.
I
And
agree. It's a lot of it is ego based, which is why Sylvie, who's been with me for 13 years, I promoted her to sales manager. So now I meet with Sylvie every day for 15 minutes. Instead of having five people come at me all day, I've got one. And
yeah,
she holds them accountable. She makes sure they make their contacts. And that's how I'm still able to do 115 transactions because otherwise it's too much. And Mike, to be
yeah,
clear, the only reason why I started a team is because I love life. I love to travel. You know, I go to
yeah.
Greece every year for a month. And
I know.
e- every year I'd go, I would lose business because you can't go on a listing appointment when you're gone for a month. So that's why I started a team. It wasn't so I could have more faces in my pre-list package. It was so I could enjoy the life and the money that I'm making because of you. So it was about quality of life versus just having a big egotistical team.
Were you born and raised in Greece?
No, I was born and raised here, but I just love going back. We're like salmon. We flock home. It's just, it speaks to us. My wife is Greek. We want to make sure the kids speak the language. We have a lot of family there. So I just genuinely unwind, when I go
Oh,
there.
that's nice. And you
Yeah.
go for a month each year, if I remember correctly.
Every year I go to Greece for a month and then Christmas I'll take 2 weeks off and spring break 2 weeks. So I travel quite a bit and I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't have the admin support. And I have two agents on my team that are very strong listing agents and they'll both take about 15 listings each this year. And that
Good.
allows me to get away.
Yeah. So how many listings will you personally take this year?
Here's my Mike Ferry. So business plan. Number one, total listings taken is 120. And my goal is to sell 100. To be clear, my sell ratio is normally higher, but because of the market, it's probably going to be less.
Yes.
Total buyer sales 15 and 2 million GCI to me is the goal.
How much is the money?
2 million.
Good for you. That is that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. That is
On me every
outstanding.
day.
Isn't that fun? I did that for years. I kept everything on a 3x5 card
Yeah.
because the more paperwork you have for people like you and I, the more complicated it gets, and then you don't get anything done. So um, schedule must be a real challenge because you have five people that report to one, but you're also trying to develop your own business. Is most of your business coming from your database?
So, yes, the majority of my business now is database, and then I get about 10 to 15 referrals a year from the Mike Ferry organization from going to events, my friend, like we meet people. It's a nice community.
Yeah.
And then just so we get a lot of sign calls, Mike. I don't advertise at all, not one flyer, not one mail hanger. It's all just listed, just sold. It's all knocking and it's all past clients.
Isn't that great?
It's
And
amazing.
oh, I know. If I said to the average agent, here's the schedule, you're going to spend the day door knocking and doing just this or just sold, they
Yeah.
would be, they would quit coaching, quit coming to my seminars, and we'd never see them again. But they wouldn't be in the business long.
No, I agree. And look, at this point in my career, I've been doing it 16 years. So in the winter months, because it gets pretty cold here, the team will switch to calls. But once the weather picks up, they're out there knocking and they love it. You get a
Yeah.
better response at the door, Mike, because people can hang up on you, but at the door, people are very friendly.
All I did as an agent was knock on doors. That's all I did
Yeah.
because a rotary phone was a little slow. And
And regarding my schedule, my coach has just taught me. So my office is in the middle of I bought this building as per the advice of my Mike Ferry coach, and my office is right in the middle. But during the hours of 9 and noon, my door is shut, and my team knows what that means. Don't bother DK. When my door
yes,
is open, come and talk to me. So as a leader, you have to set the expectation and tell them. And as long as you tell your team, look, when my door is closed, go and speak with the sales manager, Sylvie. During that time, I need to take my 15 listings a month because if I don't take 15 listings a month, we're not going to have enough leads for all of you guys. So they get it and they respect it.
that is the key. What people don't understand is the team leader says, I don't want to be productive and take a lot of listings. I want to be of service to my people. But the closing percentage becomes the key to success.
Yeah.
What is your closing percentage on a listing presentation to a contract?
Mike Ferry Events, where top producing agents get sharper. The original real estate coaching. Get registered today and invest in yourself.
It's 88% so far this year.
88%. And what's
Yeah.
your sell ratio? Because the market has been going up and down.
Well, I told you I want to take 120 listings. I'm thinking I'll sell 100 because a lot of deals are falling apart on financing, on
Yeah,
inspection. It's going to happen, right? So
yeah,
it's normally 95%, but right now I'd say it's closer to like 85%.
yeah. But the market will change and it'll be back at 92%, which is the name of the game.
Yeah, I don't mind. We just have to sign listings for a little bit longer. We have to price it more aggressively. And it's just a tweak. When you're doing 100 deals a year, one thing my Mike Ferry coach always taught me is it's just tweaking. It's not reinventing the wheel, right?
Yeah,
So bump up the listings taken, get more aggressive on pricing, and meet your sellers in person. No more of this DocuSign crap because a lot of the times when you sit people down and you go to their home and you explain the offer to them, you're doing a deal. But a lot of
yeah,
people now I find like when my agents tell me, DK, I couldn't get the deal done. I say, did you call them or did you go to the home? Well, I called them. Well, what do you think? You saw them 2 months ago, and now you're
yeah.
asked to take $50,000 off. Of course they're angry. Go to their home with some coffee and donuts and talk to them. And the deal always gets done because they can't stay angry like you always say.
Yeah, that's true. So you've seen me do something at the retreats on a regular basis. I'll have 4 or 5 of your compatriots that are all top people, and I'll ask one question, and the audience almost always gasps a little bit when I ask because they don't want to hear the answer, and I don't know if they don't want to hear it to protect me or protect you. But I'll
Okay.
say, if you take 100% of what we teach, what would you say realistically? What percentage of what we teach do you have incorporated into your business?
I'm expressive, Mike. So I've learned to become more of a driver when I'm working. So I'd have to say it's like 70%, 75%. But there's times when I am better and there's times where I falter. Like,
Yes,
does that make sense? So
yes,
when the market is hot and I'm in a rhythm, then I'm doing 90% of what you say. But I find when things get slower and the snow is on the ground and I'm going on 3 listing appointments a week instead of 3 a day, I get a bit rusty. So
yeah.
when I'm in a rhythm, I'm 90%. But I don't think anybody does 100. It's too hard. You've got so much information.
Well, but what's interesting is the answers usually are any place from say 40, 45 to 65 to 70. And people in the
I know.
audience will come up with the break and say, why would you have a person on the stage that doesn't do everything you say? I said, I don't do everything I say.
I
So
know. I know. And I noticed that people say a low number, and that's why I thought you'd be surprised with my number, but I'm weird. I mean, from the day I met you 16 years ago, I said, that's my guy. Because you weren't peddling crap. You weren't saying 90 days to greatness. You literally said, this was back in, I think it was in Hamilton. It was in some crappy hotel. And I came to see you. I didn't know who you were. And you said, give me 3 to 5 years and I'll make you a millionaire. Only if you do exactly what I say. But he goes,
Yeah.
most of you won't do it. I said, I'm going to prove this guy wrong. I'm going to do everything he said. And I did. So I'm weird. I'm a very good student. And, you tell me which direction to go and I'll go. So that's why I actually do quite a bit of what you teach.
Well, thank you. Do you have a formal education, university, etc., or are you like a lot of us?
I never finished, Mike. I did 3 years of university and I never finished um, because of I was making so much money in sales. I stopped going.
Yeah, you didn't want to decrease your income to get a degree.
Yeah, my opportunity cost was too high because
Yeah,
I was making good money and I was young and I had to help my family too. You know my story. Like a lot of Mike Ferry agents, I don't come from money and
yeah,
I wanted to help my family financially and I thought, okay, I'm going to get an economics degree. What good is that? So, I just felt I was better suited to help my family. And I always had the idea of going back, but then I got into real estate and forget it. I mean, it doesn't even make
yeah.
sense.
Now you'll own the university and let them come to you.
Look,
That's
I do value education though. Like I have a PhD in Mike Ferry organization. I have a
yeah,
PhD in sales. So it's not like I stopped learning. Because of you, I read 3 to 5 books a month. Because of you, I go to 4 or 5 events a year.
yeah,
I'm going to see Larry Kozak next month in Toronto. So I
yep.
believe in education. It's not that I don't believe in it. I just believe that I wanted your education had a higher return than what the university was offering me because I'm not smart enough to be a doctor or an engineer. So I wanted to just do this.
So you'll get a kick out of this. I was working as an agent, and our board of realtors was doing a program in Maui, Hawaii for 1 week. It was a family supposed to bring your family more vacation than anything
Yeah.
else. And they had a great speaker from like 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. So I sat in the front row, and this guy was a local broker in Maui and in Honolulu. And I mean, this guy was the epitome of success. I mean, the guy was great. So
Yeah.
I took notes as fast as I could. Well, they took about an hour break and then they had more speakers come in, but he was speaking again. So I
Yeah.
went to his same event again the second time from 11 to 12. And he walked in, he looked at me kind of strange, and I smiled and I took notes like crazy. And he said, "Thanks for coming back." I said, "No problem. What time are you on this afternoon?" He
Yeah.
said, 2 to 3. I said, "I'll see you at 2 to 3." His
Yeah.
name was Mike McCormick, um, enormously successful and a great guy. When I first started the company, I really modeled a lot of what I did after his great thoughts.
Yeah.
And so I came back a third time, and he said, "I have to ask, are you not very smart?" I said, "I don't know if I'm smart or dumb, but I'm smarter now that I've been through this 3 times." Because that was my attitude, which is same attitude you have.
My mom asked me the same thing. Are you stupid? Why you keep going to see this Mike Ferry man? Why you make him rich? I said, Mom, I bought you a house because of Mike Ferry. I said, that's why I keep going. So stop asking. She goes, oh, okay, you keep going. You keep going.
Isn't that, isn't that great?
Yeah.
That's funny. I bought my mom and dad their home. I bought them their cars. I
Yeah.
sent them on vacations all the time. They loved Hawaii. And of
Yeah.
course, as you know, from LAX, Hawaii is not very far.
Yeah.
Um, I took care of them the last 25 years of their lives until they passed. And
Yeah.
they kept saying, "Why do you work so hard?" I said, "So I can enjoy watching you enjoy the last years of your life."
Yeah. I love that.
And that's what, for me, that's what it was all about. So um, let's say we have an audience of 1,000 people, and I've had the good fortune of having DK come up on the stage with me for an hour or two, and I'm going to ask you a question. What would you tell these people if they want to go back and over the course of the next 12 to 18, 24 months, enjoy a higher level of success? What would your message be?
It's a good question. And Mike, the answer is always different because it depends on what's going on in the world. So there's
Yes,
a lot of noise in the world. So from social media to people saying that AI can do your job for you, unfortunately, there's a war going on. You have to ignore it all because those distractions will take you off course. And
yes,
I don't watch the news. I don't pay attention to it. As you say, Mike, I don't participate in all of that. I control the controllables. I can control my schedule. I can control my environment. That's why I bought my own space. I can't control what goes on in the world. All I can control is my response to it. So
yes,
I would say what you always say is you can't control the first thought that comes in your mind, but you can control the second thought.
yes.
So if you wake up in the morning and you're feeling blue or gloomy because your deal fell apart or whatever, dust yourself off. It's normal. Get up, go back and sell another home. Just keep going, keep moving forward. This too shall pass. There's way too much noise right now about what's going on in the world, and we're still buying and selling homes. People still have to buy and sell homes. You
That's
know,
right.
there's been recessions, wars, pandemics, through it all. People still have to buy and sell homes. So ignore all the negativity, put your head down, and just make your calls. Just keep it simple. And
Watch.
do,
Talk to people, know what to say, know what to do, and you win.
I will say this though, you have to know your numbers today more
Yeah,
than ever in the history of knowing your numbers. Because when you're on that listing appointment and your seller says, well, my neighbor got 1.5 million just 2 years ago, why am I getting 1.2? It's not enough to just bring the comparable. I would say bring a laptop or an iPad so you can show your seller
yeah,
the pictures. Oh, they had a finished basement. Oh, I didn't know they had a pool.
yeah,
So we have stepped up the technology a little bit to show the sellers and guide them. So Mike, now a listing appointment is probably an hour. It used to be 20 minutes,
yeah.
but I'm okay with that because if it means I'm going to get the right price and it's going to sell, I would rather spend an hour than take it overpriced and then call them every week trying to get a reduction.
Well, you had your attitude is an attitude of service
Yeah.
and getting it done right the first time. Um,
Yeah.
I said to a group a couple of weeks ago, I said, why do you think it's important to make the third and fourth presentation? And they said, what do you mean? I said, well, you make the presentation, get the contract signed, overpriced, then you make a presentation 2 weeks later to get the price right, and
Yeah.
they adjust it this much instead of this much. So by the time you get your fourth presentation, you're exhausted and you have nothing left to say. Do it
Yeah.
right the first time.
Do it right the first time because guess what? If you're nervous and scared about what's going on in the world, multiply that by 100. The sellers are nervous. They're not sure if you
Absolutely.
can get their home sold. Every other agent has probably gone in there saying, well, geez, it's tough out there and whatever. Mike, because I'm showing up on time, my pre-list package was delivered. I'm in a suit. I have my scripts. I've pre-qualified and I'm excited.
Yeah.
Just being excited is
Yes. Right.
they often say to me, "What are you so excited about?" I said, "We're going to sell your home. Aren't you excited?" They look at me like I've got three eyeballs. And I always say this, weren't the other agents excited? They go, "Well, no." I said, "Well, who do you want representing you? Somebody who's excited or somebody who's half dead?
Yeah, that's
Just get
exactly right.
excited."
That's right.
Are you following a system or just figuring it out? Mike Ferry Coaching gives a proven plan and someone holding you accountable to it. Stay on track. Stay consistent. Get started with Mike Ferry Coaching today.
I told our young videographer, Dakota, I said, we're going to be interviewing this young fellow named DK, and he is enthusiastic all the time. So, but I feel the same way. I mean, how many opportunities do we have to do something special in our life? And helping a buyer or seller is a special moment, maybe not for you and I that have done a lot of transactions, but it's a special moment for them. And
It's
you,
a-
and you got to keep that in the front of your mind.
I agree. We do this every day, but you've taught us something. Make me feel important. So
Yes.
even though we're doing 165 transactions, our team knows you want to ensure your client feels like they are the only client that you have.
That's
And
right.
and how do you do that? By listening more than talking, and asking a lot of questions. So
That's right.
we're not reinventing the wheel over here. We're just doing what you teach, and it's working, regardless of the market.
Well, if we had an audience of 1,000 and you had expressed all the good thoughts you've expressed, I would say, and you've seen me do it to the audience, stand up and let's give DK the round of applause he deserves. The problem is we have an audience of myself and Dakota and DK, so I'm going to give you the standing ovation that you deserve. That's for sure. Yeah, of course.